uncbands.org.
Hello, everyone. My name is Juan Alamo. I am a professor of percussion here at UNC Chapel Hill. And today I would like to talk about rolls, how to play rolls on timpani. So the first thing I would like to say is timpani, contrary to the snare drum or other percussion instruments, we only use single alternated strokes to play rolls, so hand to hand, just one stroke per hand. And you can start with your right hand or left hand, it doesn't really matter, but it's always single alternated strokes. So we don't use boss rolls or double stroke rolls like we do on the snare drum. So a normal roll on the timpani will more or less sound like this. If I actually play that on a snare drum, or if I cover the surface, you will notice that I'm actually not going that fast. This is as fast as I'm going. So you will think that when you play on a timpani, you might go, you will need to go that fast, but you don't really have to. And that's a common mistake that a lot of young players make. You don't really have to go fast. Why? Because this instrument, contrary to the snare drum, has a lot of natural resonance. So if I play a note, it's still ringing. So I want to take advantage of that resonance, okay? So that's kind of the first rule we should keep in mind. I need to learn how to use that resonance to my advantage. Therefore, my roll doesn't have to be that fast, okay? So I have to learn how to pace myself when I play rolls. Before I go even further in regards to pacing and roll speed, I would like to point out or sort of explain how I play rolls. And this is connected to the fact that the drum has a natural resonance. So I need to use a stroke that complements that resonance. Because if I use a stroke that is too harsh and too staccato, the drum won't be able to absorb the amount of notes that I'm putting in, and it won't sound too good. So what I want to do is use a lot of finger strokes, because that gives me a lot of, a really nice, smooth, and legato sound, which translate into a beautiful roll. The other thing I like to stress to my students is to think of the roll as playing a long note on a woodwind instrument, or like if you are a singer, if you ask a singer to sing a roll, they won't go, ah, yeah, 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 right? They will go, ah. So I'm looking for that ah, round, beautiful sound, as opposed to that, drumming percussive sound. So we want to use fingers more so than anything else. And one simple exercise that I tell my student to work with is just to play eighth notes slowly and using only your fingers. But more or less, what I'm doing here is only using my fingers. If you notice, I'm not moving my wrists, I'm not moving my arms, it's only my fingers, right? I'm going to go one finger at a time, and if you try, you will notice it's a little bit hard at first. But once you develop that technique, that will give you the perfect control and the perfect stroke to play a beautiful roll. And of course, if I had to play like really loud, if I had to play with a full ensemble, I would need a little bit more volume, so I would have to add some breath and some arm. But I think it's most of the job should be done with your fingers. That's kind of the basic principle, and then you can build and you can add arms and fingers after that. So let's go back and talk about pacing and roll speed. A basic rule that I tell my student is that the lower the drum, the slower the roll. Okay, so if you're rolling on the lower drum of the 32, the speed of the roll by nature has to be slower because it's a bigger drum, and therefore you need to give the drum more time to absorb all the notes you're putting in. If you're playing on the 29 on the small drum, 26 I should say, then you have to play your roll a little bit faster because that drum has a lot less resonance than the bigger drum. When you play a softer dynamic, your roll has to be a little bit slower or must be slower. When you play a louder dynamic like triple forte or double forte, you gotta add a little bit more speed to the roll in order to get more sound. So if I'm playing a piano or pianissimo roll on this drum, this will be more or less the speed of my roll. It's not that if I'm playing forte, then I have to speed a little bit my roll. Now notice that I'm not going super fast. It's not as fast as some people will incorrectly play it, but it's definitely faster than when I play piano. This drum is obviously bigger than this one, so I will have to adjust to that. So if I'm playing piano on this drum, the speed of the roll will be more or less this. If I'm playing forte, more or less here. Those are basic concepts that we must take into consideration. Develop your finger technique so you can develop a nice legato sound when you're rolling. Think about the speed of the roll. You don't want to roll too fast. It's not a competition. You want to just listen to the sound of the drum and always aim for a full legato sound. And we should be able to hear the pitch of the drum rather than just the drum fighting all the amount of strokes that you're putting in. And then if you're playing at a louder dynamic, your roll is going to be faster. If you're playing at a softer dynamic, your roll must be or needs to be slower. One last thing I would like to touch on in regards to rolling is playing forte pianos, because that's something that we do a lot in timpani. One thing that I like to do when I have a forte piano, then crescendo, I will play it first and then explain it. So more or less, this is a typical sound that you will find or you will encounter on countless pieces written for orchestra or wind symphony or percussion ensemble. Okay, so if you notice, I attack the first note and then I wait a little bit. Okay, the reason I do that is because that gives me the effect of the forte and then piano. If I go and start my roll immediately, I'm not giving the drum time to absorb the first stroke. So by waiting a little bit, that enables me to create a perfect effect of the perfect effect of the forte piano. The tricky thing here, so to speak, when you wait, is that you have to try to blend your next entrance and try to blend into that sound. So you don't want to create a double attack. You don't want to go. You don't want that. What you want to try to do is come from the sound that you already established, as opposed to have a double attack. That's the only trick with this. But that's something that I believe on. I think you should wait a little bit so you can create a beautiful effect with the forte piano crescendo. So just going back and reviewing everything that I have said, finger control and finger exercises, that's important. That's something you want to work with. Think about the speed of the rolls and the basic rules that I explained. The softer the dynamic, the slower the roll, the louder the dynamic, the faster the roll. And then last but not least, when you're playing forte piano crescendo rolls, play the first note, then wait, blend with the sound that you already established, and then crescendo from there. All right? If you have any more questions, you can always email me at my school email, jalamo@email.unc.edu. Thank you so much for watching.
UNCbands.org